Hi there, this is Robin Newman. I am focusing on the spiritual retreat assignment for spiritual formation counseling. I am recording this video for the fourth time. I'm feeling a little bit discouraged right now because every time I've made a video, I go offline for some reason. My computer freezes up. So I'm having a little bit of a struggle with this right now, unfortunately. But I'm going to jump right in. The spiritual retreat that I decided to focus on, and I was super excited for this activity, by the way, I was looking so forward to it. The spiritual retreat that I chose was to go from Longmont, my home, to Estes Park to go on a Rocky Mountain spiritual retreat in Wild Basin. I hike up there frequently and I love it so much. It's a great way to connect with nature and God and just be completely mindfully engaged and aware of my surroundings, thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations. It was um, a great location for me to take this spiritual retreat. So instead of taking 3 hours, I took a full day. I went all the way, once I got to the park, I went to Ouzel Falls, which is a pretty good, decent hike. It's about 6 miles, I want to say. So I was hiking about 5 hours by myself, and I was so in tune with all of my surroundings. It was just this divine connection that I felt. It was a really good way to stay centered and um, just full of gratitude and feeling so many blessings. So I was just constantly giving praise and thanking God throughout this experience. So I'm grateful for this spiritual retreat. I am going to jump right into the questions that were asked. Um, I actually made a Word document, so I'm going to pull that up real quick. I apologize. This was up earlier and I kept getting thrown offline, so I've had some difficulties in my video recording here. Um, okay, so some of some of the attributes of God that came to mind on my spiritual retreats: omnipotent, all knowing, all present, all powerful. I feel God as being faithful and righteous, loving, glorious, and good. Um, there's this sovereignty. God is just this supreme being, and being in nature and being disconnected from electronics and people. Just God and I were there together, and just being able to soak all that in, it's truly powerful. And I just left feeling so refreshed and rejuvenated from this experience. I felt love. I felt His mercy. Um, I just felt this total goodness in um, these hours that I was in nature and connecting with Him. It was pretty powerful. For the second question, I focused on majestic mountain peaks, the trees, the creek, the birds, the herd of elk, baby calves. I felt grateful, at peace. I felt whole. I felt my soul being nourished and completely rejuvenated. I focused on this mindful connection with God and His kingdom, and I kept whispering, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you," over and over and over for the beautiful creation I was surrounded in. I felt God's supreme presence with me. I felt primal. I felt this survival mode, and yet I felt entirely safe. I was listening and paying attention to thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations. I let everything from the real world go so that I could connect with the divine world and God's glorious creation. Um, I, I wanted to push everything aside. I wanted to kind of forget about everything going on: school, work, bills, parenting, this child custody situation that I have going on that's been a serious trigger for several weeks now. I really needed this time to escape and let go, and so I wanted to be in the present moment with Jesus, soak in all the richness available to me in the here and the now, just um, real life here, now with God. Nothing else matters in these moments. It was this like special self-care treat, just disconnecting from reality and connecting to um, this real, authentic goodness of being just absorbed with God and in His kingdom. So I allowed myself to be free, and I allowed myself to separate the worries, the fears, anxiety, anger, sadness. Um, I found myself meditating most of this hike and praising God for His magnificent creation that I was able to enjoy and just connect with Him. I found myself praying for my family, my friends, my son, most importantly, and just um, being faced with the adversities he faces as a 6 year old and having this dysfunctional co parenting dynamic and something I never would have wanted for my son. So I pray for him and his future, and um, he is growing in his connection with Jesus, and he loves Jesus, and I love seeing him soak that in. And I just pray that he will stay on the right path and stay connected and grow in his faith and connection. I pray for my parents who have filled in the gaps so much lately, and just all that they do to provide their love and their support. And I pray for my son's father and helping him to find his path in life and setting a good example to our son and being a good father and um, allowing God to prick his heart and find meaning and purpose in his life. So I prayed for a lot of different people, but I mostly stayed in this connection of just praise and gratitude and um, letting myself have that, just soaking that goodness in. Um, I'm looking through a Word doc here that I had written out some answers here for some of the questions. Um, I did find a lot of benefit from this focus time. I think that it's really good to have these reminders of taking this mindful self care time to connect and be present with God and soak in the richness of right here, right now. I'm a huge advocate of mindful awareness and mindful living. So, leading into the next question, I plan to tie this into my clinical counseling practice moving forward. I really want to learn what ignites people, like what brings them meaning and purpose to their lives, and build upon those strengths and help them to identify ways in which they can promote optimal health and happiness, well-being, and that's a huge component of that is spirituality. So I want to see what helps others to um, ignite that fire and help them lead these meaningful, purpose-driven lives. So this was a really enriching experience, and I apologize if this video is 10 minutes late. My intention was to get this in on time, and believe me, I was trying, and it's just the way things have been going lately for me, just constant little triggers such as this with my internet connection um, failing literally as I'm trying to submit this on time. So I apologize. It is a few minutes late. It's just the way that it is. The intention was there to get it in. I was trying, and it just didn't happen that way. So I'm hopeful this video connection will work. And once again, thank you, Dr. Bishop, for creating such an awesome assignment. I truly was looking so forward to this assignment, and I really enjoyed doing this assignment. It was a really good reminder to take that time to disconnect. That can be so empowering when we disconnect and yet we allow ourselves to connect in our spirituality. So thank you for this. I hope you enjoy.